Good morning. First thing I want to say is this. Good day, everyone. Sometimes the worst things that happen to you end up being the best things that ever happened to you when you have hindsight and you look back years later. And the topic that I want to speak about today is why is it so hard for people to better themselves in today's society? In 2013, I was in a 10-year relationship and I came home one day. And, I came home. I used to smoke weed and get drunk and, I might even pop some pills. I did a lot of things that I thought was, that made me cool. My kids watched me live this way and, they idolized it as well. So, one night I came home at about 3 in the morning and my girlfriend at the time, my kid's mom, she came downstairs and she was like, "Where were you? You were out with girls, I knew it." And she punched me, ripped my shirt, did all this stuff. And I'm not a violent person towards women because I boxed for like 6 years. So I know if I hit a woman that I will possibly, go to jail for attempt murder or something like that. So, what I did was I'm like, "You're crazy, I'm going to go to my mom's house. I'm gonna stay there for a little bit and I'll come back." So, I went to my mom's house. I stayed there for about a week. So, I come home the next week and it was September something 2013. Floyd Mayweather was fighting. It was that weekend. So I pick up my next door neighbor. It was around the same age as me. And we went to Delaware Park to go gamble, drink, and we smoked on the way there, smoked while we were there. I was pretty intoxicated and my mind was pretty impaired. So when we get home, I'm thinking now, you know how they say hindsight is 2020. I'm thinking that he already knew and he already possibly knew what was going on and he just didn't want to say anything. Because when we got to my house, he was like, "Yo, why are your lights all on?" And I'm thinking because, this woman, I trusted her so much because of, the job that she has and the way she's viewed in society. I thought that, she was like a saint. But, that was the perception of her. The truth is, I knew the real her after this, and it really came out, and it was all a facade. But, that's neither here nor there. I want to stay on topic. So, we get to I'm dropping him off 2 doors down from mine, and he's like, "Yo, bro, why is all your lights on?" I'm like, "Maybe she fell asleep," because my kids were staying with their grandma. Maybe she fell asleep with her friend. I mean, she fell asleep with when she got home because she said she was going to go watch the Floyd Mayweather fight. Maybe she got tired and fell asleep. So he's like, "All right." And then he's like, "Yo, you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, well, if you got any problem, just come knock on my door or whatever." And I'm like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Whatever, you know what I mean? So that's why I said hindsight's 2020. Drop him off, park in front of my house, take my key, open the door, walk in, and next thing you know, she comes downstairs fully clothed, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what am I doing here? This is my house. I just paid the rent, the mortgage last month, which is this month. Why wouldn't I be here?" And she's like, "No, you moved out. You need to go back to Philly with your mom and your family, and you need to leave." I'm like, "All right, well, look, I'm the type person that if it's negative energy, I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to keep it moving." So, I'm like, "Look, all right, if you want to be like that, here, take the key. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sleep on the couch because I'm a little drunk and I can't drive all the way to Philly right now. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I'll go home. You'll never see me again." I'm thinking that, she's going to be like, "No, no, 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 I really love you." Because up until then, this person really loved me more than they loved themselves. And, but whatever. So now she's like, "No, you need to leave or I'm calling the police. You don't live here. You moved out. You need to leave." She's like, you're high, you're drunk, and I don't want you around me." So I'm like, "All right, look, I'm going to go get a blanket from my son's room and a pillow, and I'm going to sleep on this couch, which I brought, and, I'm going to leave in the morning." And she's like trying to fight me from going upstairs, and I didn't go in our room. I went in my son's room, and she just arguing and being really negative. So I'm like, "All right," I go downstairs and I go to lay on the couch, and she's like, "You need to leave." And she's just adamant. She's really she just really wants me to leave. I don't want to use words in the wrong way, but she really wants me to leave. And I'm like, "All right," So I'm like, "You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. Since you're being so freaking negative, I'm gonna go sleep in the car." You know what I mean? I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go home. So I go out and I lay in the car. I got to take the blanket from my son's room and the pillow. I put the seat back. I'm laying there. I ain't even think about going knocking on my friend's door. You know, like that was the last thing on my mind because I'm thinking that this person is a saint, and I'm so naive to what was really going on that, you know, I'm thinking that, you know, this is all going to end and she's just trying to, you know, pay me back, you know, and eventually she's going to say, just come on up in the room and just go to sleep. So I'm like, all right, boom. Next thing you know, I'm laying in the car for about 20 minutes and she comes to the window and she closes the blinds one side and she closes the other side. So that's a red flag that goes off in my head. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm thinking that after she closed the blinds, she's going to come and open the door and say, just come on in and go to sleep. So that doesn't happen. So about 10 more minutes go by and I see her lift up the blinds. And I'm like, hold on. And she closes the blinds. She lifts up the little peek out the blinds and look at me. And I'm like, all right, maybe she wants to, you know what I mean, come let me in now. She still doesn't let me in. So now another red flag's going off in my head. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I don't get it. So, you know what I mean? I let another 10 minutes go by, and then I'm like, she still hasn't came and let me in. So I go and knock on the door, because remember, I gave her the key to our house back. You know, so I go knock on the door, ring the doorbell. She doesn't answer. I do it for about 5 minutes. You know, next thing you know, I'm thinking in my head, like, maybe she got in the shower. Maybe she got in the shower, and maybe she just, you know, she's busy in the shower. So she comes, and while she's coming to open the door, next thing you know, I hear back door, because we had an alarm. So I hear back door. So she opens the door when I hear back door, like, what? And I'm like, oh no. So I run around to the back and I see a guy running through our back way, like up the way, just running away. So I go to the front. I'm like, yo, you just had some guy, some nigga in our house? And she's like, no, you're tripping. You're high. You need to get away from me. I don't want you in this house. You're high. I don't know what you're talking about. You're making stuff up. I can't believe you accused me of this. So I go in the house and I grab her. I'm like, yo, why are you doing this to me? She's like, help, help, help. This guy's trying to kill me. Help. I let her go like, oh my God, you know, because, you know, she's Caucasian. And I'm like, I don't want any trouble. So she's like, get out. I'm like, so now I let her go and she's like, look, you're on drugs, you have a drug problem, you're making stuff up, and now you're grabbing me. I'm afraid for my life. I'm going to stay at my mom's house. Even you're staying here or I'm staying here. You need to get all your stuff, and I'm not coming back until you do. I'm going to my mom's house with the kids. Bye. So now I'm sitting there and I'm freaking pretty much, I'm insane now. I'm like, yo, the person that I've been with for 10 years that I love more than anything just had somebody in my house. When I tried to talk to her, she basically screamed like I was trying to kill her, almost tried to get me arrested, and then left. So now I go to her mom's house, the car's not there. I know every friend she has. I go to all her friends' house. I ain't knock on the door. I'm just looking for a car. Car's nowhere to be found. So now I'm sitting there. I go to the mom's house. I'm talking to her dad. I'm crying. She did this. She comes home about like 10 in the morning to her dad's house. Same clothes on. Walks in and says, yeah, you know, I was afraid for my life. So I just pulled over at a park and I just fell asleep in the park and I just woke up. Now I'm taking my kids to football practice or whatever. And that's what happened. And I don't have to explain anything to you. You need to get your stuff and move on. So this is the story that she went with for the rest of her life too, people. Like, women, when they lie, they don't care how much they get caught. They're going to stick with this shit for the rest of their life. There's nothing that they will do. You could basically, like, I ended up having 100% proof showing it to her, because what happened was 3 years later, when I moved to Arizona, it was like, I found don't you know how they have suggestions on your Instagram? So she had an extra Instagram account where she had an alter ego, and in that alter ego, she was kissing the guy. They had a whole nother life. And I found out that the guy was, you know, before she even met them, I signed my kids up for karate class. And I've taken my kids to karate class all the time. And, you know, this guy was basically kind of cool with me, you know. And sometimes I couldn't make it. So what I would do is I would have her go pick him up. And what happened was she started talking to the karate teacher, and that was the guy who was sneaking out my back door. I didn't find out for 3 years later, but I had a feeling that it was him. So, you know, when it first happened, you know, I went up to his job, and I'm like, yo, was you at my crib? And he's like, yo, I wasn't at your crib. He got so defensive. And he pulled out some nunchucks on me or whatever. So, I got a gun. I smoke weed. I'm a street guy, you know what I mean? Like, people know me to be a street guy or whatever. So he's like, yeah, you need to stay away from me. He whips his nunchucks. It's a fucking crazy situation. So, next thing you know, I see the guy about a week later. I'm driving in the neighborhood, and, I end up almost running into him while he's crossing the street. He's going into a school to speak to kids on how to be a positive person and love people. Go figure. So, I almost hit him because the truth is, when you're a good person, no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. God will show you the light every time. So, I almost run into this person. I stopped. He looked me in the eyes. And this guy knows all this. He's an MMA, all that. I'm just a guy who just I was at rage. I was pissed. But I didn't have 100% proof that it was him. So I parked the car. I ain't even hit him. I wanted to hit his ass once I found out who it was. But I get out. I'm like, yo, what's up, yo? Like, yo, what's up? Like, he knows that, I carried a gun, a legal gun. And he knows that, I was willing to, die for, my beliefs. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm like, yo, you was in my fucking crib? And he like, nah. He like, yo, I don't even know her. Like, you're tripping. Like, I don't know why we gotta go through this. We're both Muslim. I would never do that to you. Like, I'm a good person. I'm headed in here to talk to these kids, on how to, be positive and positive energy and all this stuff. And this is before I read any books or anything. I'm like, all right, sound like him. We shake hands. He goes in, boom. So now I don't know who the guy is. I don't know if the guy has more money than me. I don't know if the guy is more in shape than me. I don't know if the guy is if he's more intelligent than me. But all I know is that I needed to figure out how to better myself so that I can make sure that she regrets it. So the next thing I do is I move into this apartment called Rittenhouse Apartments, in Philadelphia. Living there every day. I wake up in the morning, and this is why I said it's so hard for society to better itself. I had to go through that and just want to be better than whoever this person was just to better myself. So when I wake up every morning, we had these classes. One started at 5:45, another one started at 6:45, and the other one started at 7:30. So, you had to be there that early. So every morning I will wake up and I would just be like, man, I would go there and I would be in my pajamas. I went there so much in my pajamas, everybody called me PJs. They'd be like, man, here come PJs, because I would just force myself to go. I went so much that, it ended up changing my life. Before I started my day, I went down to these classes. I did the, whatever the classes was. Some of them would be spin, riding a bike. Some of them would be, aerobics. Some of them be whatever. But one thing that I noticed in those classes is that, I never saw someone that was on government assistance in those classes. I never saw someone who argues with people all day in those classes. I never saw someone who consistently indulges in things that alter the way your mind works, like marijuana, like drinking. I never saw these people in there. What I did see was people who had so much things materialistically that they looked at life a different way than the other people who didn't attend these different places. And that's when I started to have a paradigm shift, which is the way that you view the world. I started to notice that, everything's all about the way that you, the way that you think and what you consistently do every day. So that's when I started to just look at the world a lot differently. And I started to see that there were so many people around me that had so much time to do everything but better themselves. Like, people would be just the same person that I used to be. They would wake up in the morning and say, I gotta get my ass to work, or I ain't gonna be able to, keep up this persona of showing people that I have a nice car, showing people that I have a Christmas tree full of gifts, showing people that I have a nice house with things in it, showing people that I can sit in my house and, eat whatever I want and watch the latest show, whether if it's Empire, whether if it's Shark Tank, whether if it's Love and Hip Hop, whatever the show was. This is the persona that, I wanted to keep up, or these people wanted to keep up, instead of bettering themselves. And they always had time for things like that. And I'm like, man, So basically, people like this have time to, wake up every morning, and especially people that smoke weed, it takes at least about an hour. You gotta stop at the store, get you a wrap, or load the bong up, whatever, however you smoke it. It takes at least 15 to 20 minutes just to smoke it. And then while you're smoking it, you're sitting around and you're sitting there and you're socializing, talking about dumb stuff, or you're watching your favorite TV show, or the people that go out to the club, every other week. You got time to do all these things. People who watch TV shows, got their favorite shows on DVR. They watch every day. You got time to do everything except better yourself. That's one thing I just don't understand. And another thing that I want to touch on is, like, people think that they can go to church and get saved rather than just saving themselves. They will make sure that they get their butt up and go to church every week, instead of doing what they have to do to save themselves, which is making sure they get up every morning and work out, making sure that they read books on how to better yourself. Like, maybe you might want to read a book on how the human brain works. Maybe you might want to read a book on what you should put inside your body to make sure your body is flowing efficiently. There's a lot of different topics that we can read on. Maybe you want to read a book on how economics work and how to save your money. It's so many things that our brain can be programmed to learn to become better people, but we don't have time for it. And that's why that's why I'm saying right now is, society is built for people to not better themselves. And, it's always going to be like that. And the way that when I wake up and when I walk around, there's some movie called The Matrix. It's like I see the Matrix now. It's like everybody is programmed just to do exactly what the programmers want them to do. And when it comes time to doing anything that's involving bettering themselves, they don't have time for it. A person who doesn't take care of themselves, their favorite line to me is, "Man, you have willpower. I wish I had enough willpower to do what you're doing," or "You're a strong person. One day I'm gonna get that strong, but right now, I gotta get to work. Right now, I gotta roll this blunt up. Right now, I'm about to hit the club with the homies and we ready to turn up." And you want the same result as me when we're in the same room. Energy is felt. Your presence is felt. What you do when no one's looking is called character, and that determines your energy and your aura when you're out in society around people. That's why when I go out, I attract so many, females that come up to me and, they want to be friends. And I'm like, I don't care how you look. I can feel your energy and I can choose on the people that I want in my life. And the crazy thing is, these people who don't do things to better themselves, the funny thing is, they always want to try to tell their kids on how to better themselves. It's like people do what they see, not what you say. So if you're smoking weed every day, you're not reading on how to become a better person, you're never working out, but you're actually screaming at your kids all the time because they're growing up to be the same loser that you are. Like, isn't that called being a hypocrite? I'm just asking. Because when you grow up, you idolize the people who you see who have the most. So, if your kids see you and they see that you can maintain the house, they see that you always got the car seats, you always putting toys under the Christmas tree, they got a new outfit for Easter basket full, and every other holiday they celebrating just like everybody else. They keep the new Jordans, they got the Yeezys and all that. Why wouldn't they want to not work out like you? Why wouldn't they not want to only learn information from TV shows? So the one thing that I want everyone to understand is life is about priorities. And if you don't have time to do the main things that's causing your body to be your temple, and you actually do have time to prioritize getting up every day and going to be a slave at work and not trying to figure out a way to be with your family more and make that supplement that same income without having to exchange time for money, if you're not figuring out a way to wake up every morning and, as soon as you crack your eyes, going to the gym and just, making sure that you're healthy If you're not eating correctly, so you're not going to have diabetes, you're not putting all these different types of toxins inside your body. If you're doing all these things, your priorities aren't right. Your priorities aren't in the right place. And the people who look up to you will grow up and their priorities won't be in the right place as well. And you know what that's called? That's called misguidance. And I see a lot of people misguiding the people around them, and then they get upset when they see the people emulating them. Like, I can't believe you ain't go to school. I can't believe you was hooking and you started smoking weed. Who the hell? And what? You're drinking? Oh my God, you're pregnant? Like, come on, man. Like, let's be real here. What do they see on TV? What do they see you doing? You know, if you're going to continue to be this type of person, the only thing that I would suggest is you get them a role model. Because, and you do this, what one of my mentors told me, people will be your role model in one of two ways. They will be your role model as somebody to do exactly what they do, or somebody to do nothing like, to be nothing like them. So it's like, look, when you see somebody who just gets no respect because they're a drug addict, whether if it's your mother, your uncle, your aunt, or anyone else in society, you say, look, I don't want the results they have, so I'm doing everything, I'm doing the opposite of everything that they're doing, because, you know, they're losers. And, you know, the people who I look up to that have everything and they're happy, they don't do anything like this. Though that's one role model, and the other way is to be someone who actually, you know, people follow after because you have the exact results that they have, that they want to have. You know, that's why it's always good to keep role models in your kids' sight of view that, you know, is positive, like doctors and, you know, people that actually have careers. Because if kids see drug dealers and they have all the cars, they're going to want to sell drugs. And, you know, it is what it is. But that's all. And that's all I really wanted to touch on today, is that, you know, mainly people and all of us, you know, it's hard for us to evolve because, you know, the way society is. And, you know, I hope that no one has to grow up or has to become awakened, you know, from the problem that